الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. اردو ٹرانسلیشن. میں پناہ مانگتی ہوں اللہ کی شیطان مردود سے. شروع اللہ کے نام سے جو بڑا مہربان نہایت رحم والا ہے. اللہ نے جو رحمان ہے سکھایا اسی نے قرآن. پیدا فرمایا اسی نے انسان کو اور سکھایا اسے بولنا. سورج اور چاند پابند ہیں ایک حساب کے اور جھاڑیاں اور درخت اسی کو سجدہ کر رہے ہیں. اور آسمان کو بلند کیا اللہ نے اور قائم کر دیا نظام توازن تاکہ نہ خلل ڈالو تم بھی عدل و توازن میں اور ٹھیک ٹھیک تولو انصاف کے ساتھ اور نہ گھاٹا تولتے وقت. اور زمین کو بنایا ہے اس نے مخلوقات کے لیے. اس میں لذیذ پھل ہیں. کھجور کے درخت ہیں جن کے پھلے گلابوں میں لپٹے ہوئے ہیں اور طرح طرح کے گلے جن میں بھوسا بھی ہوتا ہے اور دانا بھی. بس اپنے رب کی کن کن نعمتوں کو جھٹلاؤ گے. انگلش ٹرانسلیشن. Surah Ar-Rahman, the most gracious, the most beneficent Allah has taught you mankind the Quran by His mercy. He created man. He taught him eloquent speech. The sun and the moon run on their fixed courses exactly calculated with measured out stages for each for reckoning, etc. And the herbs or stars and the trees both prostrate. And the heaven He has raised high, and He has set up the balance, in order that you may not transgress balance. And observe the weight with equity, and do not make the balance deficient. And the earth He has put for the creatures, Therein are fruits, date palms producing coated fruit stalks, and also corn with its leaves and stalk for fodder, and sweet-scented plants. Then which of the blessing of your Lord will you both jinns and men deny? Thank you.
Invite Huma Arjuman for praises to divine. Please welcome Huma on the stage.
Be with you all here today. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And I begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Give thanks to Allah for the moon and the stars. Praise Him all day for what is and what was. Take hold of your iman. Don't give in to shaitan. O those who believe, please give thanks to Allah. Allahu Ghafoor, Allahu Rahim, Allahu Yuhibbu al-Muhsinin. Huwa khaliquna, huwa raziquna, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allah is Ghafoor, Allah is Rahim, Allah is the one who loves the Muhsinin. He is our creator, He is our sustainer, and He is the one who has power over all. Give thanks to Allah for the moon and the stars. Praise Him all day for what is and what was. Take hold of your iman. Don't give in to shaitan. O those who believe, please give thanks to Allah. Allahu Ghafoor, Allahu Rahim, Allahu Yuhibbu al-Muhsinin. Huwa khaliquna, huwa raziquna, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allah is Ghafoor, Allah is Rahim, Allah is the one who loves the Muhsinin. He is our creator, He is our sustainer, and He is the one who has power over all. Yes, Allah is the one who has power over all. Thank you.
And now I would like to invite Arjuman Azeemi. Praises for Muhammad Peace be upon him.
Mawlaya salli wa sallim daiman abadan ala habibika khairul khalqi kullihim Muhammadun sayyidul kawnain was-saqalain Muhammadun sayyidul kawnain was-saqalain wal-fariqain min arbun wa min ajami Mawlaya salli wa sallim daiman abadan Nabiyyun al-amar nahi fala ahadun Nabiyyun al-amar nahi fala ahadun Nabarra fi qala la minhu wala naimi Mawlaya salli wa sallim daiman بك خير الخلق كلهم هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل حول من الأهوال مقتحم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. English translation. O Lord, send peace and blessings for always and forever upon the one who you have loved, the best of all creation, Muhammad. Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the leader of both worlds and creations, man and jinn, and of both groups, Arabs and non-Arabs. He is Allah's most beloved, whose intercession is hoped for every fear and distress that is going to come. There is no parallel to him in speaking the truth. He is the one who commands good and forbids evil. Thank you.
Once again, thanks to Ikra, Huma and Arjuman for the beautiful recitation and translation. And now I would like to introduce once again the detailed concept of Adam Day by Sufi, on behalf of Sufi Sheikh Order Azeemia. Once again, Assalamu Alaikum, good afternoon, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Shalom. Allah nourishes all creatures. He gives them life, a life absolutely blessed by Allah, whether it is before coming into this world, after coming into this world, or in hereafter. Satan is a rebel of Allah. He was ungrateful to the countless blessings of Allah and disobeyed Allah with arrogance. Satan said to Allah, "You created me from fire, and you created Adam from rotten, fermented clay." He did not consider the fact that it is Allah who is the creator. And so whether he created from fire or from clay, they are both the display of his excellence. If we think about it, fire burns, melts and destroys. Whereas from clay, you see the flower grows, birds, tree, beautiful birds, and a myriad of animals. Satan refused to obey Allah. Everyone knows the law. Obedience is faithfulness, while disobedience is a rebellion. Satan rebelled, which is mentioned in the Bible, Torah, Vedas, Gita of Krishna Ji, Quran. This incident may have been narrated in various ways, but their meanings are essentially same. The words which we utter belong to a certain language, but the meaning is the same. When we say water, the impression of water appears on our mind. Contemplating deeper would reflect the wetness, coldness, and sense of quenching thirst which you get from water. We give a child a glass of water and the child's thirst is quenched. A child in India or Pakistan says pani. The meaning of fish is the same as water. In Arabic it is called ma. If you ponder every word of a language, the context in which it is being spoken, whichever language it is spoken in, is the different interpretation, but the real root remains same. Water, right? Wetness, coldness, and quench your thirst. The underlying meaning of the word is to be analyzed. It's always about the bottom line. Every single person understands these meanings. All creatures, birds, pigeons, rabbits, horses, whatever you call it, shrubs, understand the interpretation of water. They know the meaning of water, what it will do with them. We must contemplate that despite the variety of languages, the interpretation of Allah's system is same. This very law and equation can never change. It remains same everywhere. Allah created Adam without a father or mother. It was a miracle. And then He created Eve out of Adam. This initiated a process of reproduction and growing generation. It should be noted that one can be white or black, red or yellow or brown. We find many different types of creatures on earth. Some have flat noses, some small eyes, some may be short or tall, some have white skin, some have brown skin, some have yellow skin, or some have black skin. However, as a creation, we all are one. We all descend from the same father and mother. Goat reproduce goats, cow comes from cow, mango comes from mango, and a potato comes from potato. The system is created by a supreme being which is not created by anyone, and which has created all things. All the prophets preached to the people of this being. Prophet Abraham, Prophet Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, may peace be upon them all. The last prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, O people, Adam is your father, and we are all the offspring of Adam and Eve. All people, wherever they may be living on the planet Earth, or maybe on the other solar system, we don't know. They are the offspring of Adam. We are all generation of Adam and related to each other as brothers and sisters. Many civilizations have come and gone over the centuries. New civilization will appear and disappear. And they all have the common factor that they are from Adam and Eve. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, I am not telling you anything new, rather repeating similar statements proclaimed by my brothers, that is Adam, Noah, Abraham, Jacob, Moses, David, and all those 124,000 prophets came before him. Peace be upon them. Our planet today is witnessing violence, operations, barbarism, bloodshed, unrest, dishonesty, and prejudice. It is as if all this is so normal now. Like we heard the news of getting people killed daily. It's becoming so normal now. We don't feel anything about them. It is bizarre age. Everywhere you look, humanity is burning in the furnace of religious, racial, and national prejudices. Brothers are harming their brothers. Humans are killing each other and abusing each other's rights. Everyone desires to be rich and wishes their brother become poor. These acts are opposite to harmony and peace. All the people of the world are bound to each other by the relationship of Adam and Eve. Every individual has duty over other individuals. They must help each other. Allah has blessed us with different abilities. He has blessed some with intelligence, some with less. Some are disabled. But, however, in Quran it says, O Allah, you give honor to whomever you will, and you humiliate whomever you will. So, one who is dignified has the responsibility to assist the people below him, maintain a brotherhood, establish companionship among each other. We are all brothers and sisters. On this occasion of Adam Day, it is important to mention that we are all children of Adam and Eve. Those have been blessed with intelligence and understanding. It is their responsibility to raise the level of people below them. To have organized education system, to eliminate literacy and poverty so that those people can also live respectable life. On behalf of Adam Day, our message is that are all connected with the common bond of Adam and Eve in brotherhood. there should be a system where poor people can at least be educated. Everyone should unite together and think of those lower than us as our brothers by considering that we are all connected with a common bond of Adam and Eve in brotherhood and strive for them. I pray for the success of Adam Day event, and may we all contemplate on the spirit of this day. People should support the program for the elimination of poverty, which is a big sin actually. Because if you are poor, you may end up doing something worse. But if we are wealthy people, if we cannot do anything about it, we're going to be responsible for the sin as well. Those who are engaged in such activities should cooperate with and involve others in helping each other to eliminate the poverty. We must applaud and appreciate those who are already supporting such activities, who are the first to step into the circle of humanity. May Allah bless you with happiness, and may this event become source of prosperity and well-being for the whole mankind, and bind everyone as brothers and sisters with a common relation of Adam and Eve. Assalamu alaikum.
When Mudasir first asked if I would mind speaking at this event, he asked if I would speak about the topic of humanity for about 10 minutes. And I said, humanity is a big topic. Are you sure you need a whole 10 minutes? He assured me that yes, in fact, 10 minutes would be superb. So my task is before me, and I'll try to fit that into this interval. Thank you, Mudasir, for the invitation to participate and for the honor to speak at Adam Day. Thank you, all of you, for coming together today to honor and to celebrate our shared human kinship. I wanted to touch on two words. I have an academic background, so there'll be more from the academic world. I wanted to touch on two concepts, humanity and communitas. A few weeks ago, I shared with some colleagues the news that I had been invited to speak and described the topic to them. And being excellent people, they were curious. And one asked, what is the difference between human and humanity? I think that's a great question. And so we talked about that. We noted first that humanity is a plural term, and of course human is singular. Alone, you are human, but you need only one other person to have the opportunity to experience and to create humanity. Human is the one, humanity is the many. After further consideration, we agree that the concept of humanity, in that we find a sense of commonality, of connection, of identification with others. There's a sense of a spiritual connection and of a starting point for a sense of solidarity. But while it might be reassuring to think about what we have in common, humanity is more complex than just that. Humanity describes the quality of the human experience, and the human experience has as many varieties as there are people on the planet. In humanity, we also find an awareness of our differences, our variations in experience, in art, in music, in literature and poetry, in our variations in physical form, in our talents and abilities, in our languages, in our dress, in our rituals. In the concept of humanity, then, there's an invitation to discover and celebrate those differences, to find wonder and awe in them, and to create more room to allow for our differences to strengthen and to inform us. But even in considering all of that, isn't it true, no matter how many words we might use to describe the experience, or the importance, or the wonder of humanity, it ends up being a bit like trying to define love. So there's an experiential aspect of having lived and related with others. We acquire complex concepts like culture, or community, or humanity by virtue of just living and relating to one another. And that's rather remarkable. We can all leave this gathering today go back to our homes and to our lives and even be alone. But we will still be aware of and still responding to and still in relationship with humanity. We take it with us. We still, each of us, possess our own humanity. So there's a second note of my talk. I think that by trying to create a space to acknowledge our human kinship, we're creating bridges between this micro, personal, and individual experience of ourselves in relationship to others, and a macro level of shared experiences with many. Through rituals like these, we are creating some very special conditions that can result in transformative experiences. There's a great word for such transformations that I'd like to share with you, and that word is communitas, from the anthropologists Victor and Edith Turner. The Turners, and before them Arnold van Gennep, studied rituals of transition, rites of passage among tribes around the world. Van Gennep and the Turners documented how it is a common human activity to bring together youths for a gathering, for there to be a separation, for their parents to leave them in the hands of elders, and for those gathered kids to undergo some kind of adventure or trial on their way to becoming accepted as young adults and to having more responsibility, autonomy, and respect among their tribe. So there's a separation, a guidance, an adventure, a journey, a trial, and a reintegration that marks a passage, a rite of passage. Those gatherings and those trials place them in what is called a liminal space. They're neither the children they were when they arrived, but they're not yet full members of the tribe. They're between states, between here and there. During their ordeals, they may have tests. They may be placed in danger in order to learn how to respond, to learn how to trust themselves and how to trust each other. The bonds they form together during that experience are what the Turners call communitas. We see many varieties of communitas and many varieties of liminality in human cultures around the world. The educational system in which young people leave their home, live almost or entirely on their own, attend classes, take repeated tests. These people are in a series of liminal states until they graduate. When we gather for religious rituals, music festivals, or other large-scale events, there's the anticipation of what will happen. There is an adventure or a journey, and on the other side of that event, we anticipate some kind of transformation. Perhaps some new friendships form, perhaps some relationships deepen, perhaps we become more confident of ourselves or learn more about what challenges us. Indeed, right now, we are all in a liminal space. There is who we were before this ritual, and during the ritual, there is an aspiration for this bond of a shared experience that will cultivate a sense of connection despite any other differences we might have. The communitas that emerges on its own can't be predicted. We can set up the conditions for it to occur, but we cannot mandate the outcome. That is up to each of us. In his book, Communitas, the Italian philosopher Roberto Esposito reframes the idea of communitas by taking a slightly different angle on community. He says, community isn't a property, nor is it a territory to be separated and defended against those who do not belong to it. Rather, community is a void, a debt, a gift to the other that also reminds us of our own multiple roles and identities. In this liminal moment, my wish and hope for Adam Day is that this experience will contribute to a deeper appreciation for our humanity, and that I will learn more about you, and perhaps about myself as well, as a result. Thank you for the gift of being together here today, and thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you.
Thank you, Chris Ross, for her wise word. Now I would like to invite Kevin Pringle on the stage to enrich our soul with the words he prepared in the context of it. Thank you.
Start every book and lecture with this statement. Straight and narrow is the path. Waste no time. Gloria in excelsis Deo, which means glory to God the Most High. And I believe that's why we're all here. We all have the same spirit and the same heart in our path, no matter how different it may look. And that's what Adam Day is about, and that's why I was glad that the Azeemis asked me to come here today. It's a day for us to all come together and celebrate our common source, and as opposed to focusing on our differences, which seems to happen too often nowadays. Being that it is Adam Day, I wanted to share a little joke. A little girl asked her mother, "How did the human race appear?" The mother answered, "God made Adam and Eve, and they had children, and so all was mankind made." 2 days later, the girl asked her father the same question. The father answered, "Many years ago there were monkeys from which the human race evolved." The girl was now confused, and she returned to her mother and said, "Mom, how is it possible that you told me the human race was created by God, and Dad said they developed from monkeys?" The mother smiled and said, "Well, dear, it's very simple. Your dad told you about his side of the family, I told you about mine." But it's a blessing to be here today with you guys. Thanks to the Azeemis for putting this together. I think this is a really good event, and we need more of this in today's world where everything, the division becomes so highlighted. We share too much in common to be divided. We're all brothers and sisters, and no single group or system owns inner peace as it belongs to the human spirit by virtue of our origin. And as Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within us. And as someone who started out on his own spiritual path as a Christian, I think as Christians we get a little lost in the religiosity of what's in the book as opposed to what's actually being said. And there is no difference between Islam or Christianity when it comes to the heart and the source of what it is that's being taught. My own path has been a very winding road. Like I said, I started as a traditional Christian, trying to figure out my path through that, and didn't quite satisfy my thirst for truth and knowledge. So I researched all different paths with an open heart and mind, and saw that there was a lot of similarities within all paths. And as I progressed, I came across who became my teacher, Dr. David Hawkins, and his work, which really helped me contextualize all spiritual paths as it reflects in the universal nature of consciousness itself, which is what every path in essence is about. It's a path of consciousness evolving to higher levels of consciousness and higher levels of understanding, especially like within the Sufi Order, which is a path of self-realization and understanding that path. So, like I said, my teacher had put forth something called the Map of Consciousness, which is basically a roadmap of consciousness in this realm, of everything. And it reflects on different teachings, objects, situations, anything in this realm is coming from some level, some frequency of consciousness. And understanding consciousness is very important, in different levels of consciousness, is important to understand in order to evolve through that. And it also helps with judgment. Here in the human realm, we're all so different, and we get focused on judgments and casting things with labels. Whereas when you take it from a perspective of consciousness, there really is no need for that. It's all water. It's all H2O. If it's down at a certain level, it might become like ice. Up at a certain level, it might be like steam. But there's only H2O, which is only God. So the path I do follow is called Devotional Non-Duality. The teachings emphasize the core truths of the world's great spiritual traditions, which is kindness and compassion to everything and everyone, including and especially oneself. Can't forget yourself. Humility, forgiveness, simplicity, lovingness as a way of being, reverence for all of life, devotion to truth, and surrender to God. It is a direct path to enlightenment, in which each internal progression of love and integrity uplifts the whole of existence. And there's a famous quote, we change the world not by what we say or do, but as a consequence of what we have become. A lot of the times people get focused on the doing and forget the being. So you can try to do a lot of things, but what is the nature and the energy it's coming out of? When we focus on being more loving, being more forgiving, more humble, that energy itself influences the people, places, things, and situations around us and the world as a whole. So the map of consciousness is a great tool to help understand the different levels of consciousness in this realm. The levels can be likened to attractor fields. It attracts to itself what it is. And just for some understanding of that, everything emits energy, either positive or negative. Intuitively, we know the difference between a positive person who is friendly, genuine, or considerate, and a negative person who is greedy, deceitful, or hateful. The energy of Mother Teresa is obviously different from the energy of Adolf Hitler, and most people's energy falls between that spectrum. Everything in this world, music, places, books, animals, intentions, all of life emit energy somewhere on this scale. So it's critical to understand that like goes to like, and that different energies constellate in attractor patterns, that when we're in an energy of, say, desire or anger, we're seeing and experiencing the world through that lens. And that's the kind of things we're attracting to ourselves. So as we move up the scale and embrace higher energies like courage and joy and willingness, acceptance, we begin to attract that and uplift all of mankind through that energy itself. It's similar to the cork in the ocean. It floats according to its own buoyancy. So the higher, the lesser the weight of whatever the science is of it. Whatever your level is, you float to that level in the ocean. So some of the levels of consciousness, just trying to go through this pretty quick here. There's two basic levels. There's the levels of force, which are the lower levels, which is the basis levels of mankind. It's represented by our animal nature, our most savage, from shame, guilt, apathy and hatred, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. Those are all the lower levels of consciousness. And when we are in those levels, we experience God and the world through that lens. It doesn't mean that God is that. It means that's what we're experiencing. That's what we're perceiving God to be. But as we get through those lower levels, we get to the critical part of courage. And courage is where everything changes. When you have the courage to stand up for what's true, to stand up for integrity and truth, no matter what, you're stepping into a different realm. And this realm is courage, neutrality, which is, you don't have a stake in what it is. Whatever happens is fine with you. You can make it happen. Willingness, acceptance, reason, which is the sole prime characteristic of the human species. Love, real love, not the love that's glamorized in Hollywood, where it's, oh, if I can't have you, I'm going to die today. This is a real love with a capital L that has no sense of loss. And as you get your love more unconditional, you move to the state of joy. This is the state of healing. This is the level where that energy comes into play. And this is the level where a lot of spiritual teachers start to come about. And that energy is prominent. And as you get to the highest levels of peace and full enlightenment, there is no more identification with oneself as being a separate human meat vessel of you don't see yourself as human anymore. You are spirit. You are the source. You're not identifying as the wave. You identify as the ocean itself. And that's the level of all true spiritual teachers. From all the great prophets, peace be upon all of them, to Christ, everyone has been in the higher levels of the scale. So as mankind perceives these different people, we may throw our own template of what we think they are, but the truth of their nature is spelled out within the map. And that which is true will always be true at all times. So the map of consciousness, like I said, really helped me contextualize my own spiritual path. I've been really good friends with the Azeemis for a long time. I respect their path. I've always respected mine because we see it's the same. There's cultural differences. There's terminology that's different, but it's all the same. So I just wanted to wrap up. I just wanted to say a few of the laws of consciousness themselves. Like I said, consciousness is something that applies to all paths, so I think there is value here. The first one is fear is healed by love. Fear is a lower energy based in more of our animalistic nature. Love heals all. And we're all connected at the energetic level, and a higher vibration such as love always has a powerful effect on a lower vibration such as fear. Something that's very important to remember, we are only subject to a negative thought or belief if we consciously say it applies to us. This seems hard to believe at first, but it's very true. We don't realize a lot of what we believe in. We just kind of are programmed to walk around like robots. But what we consciously hold in mind as true tends to be so for us. If we hold ourselves in mind as loving spiritual beings, we will be that. Like goes to like I was saying, these attractive fields. Be love, be forgiveness, be humble, and that is the world that you will experience. What one holds in mind tends to manifest. This is not the law of attraction, which tends to get a little glamorized and pushed out there for its marketing. But what you hold in mind tends to manifest. The energy that you're holding is what will manifest. Defensiveness invites attack. Love is the ultimate law of the universe. Our feelings and thoughts always have an effect on other people and affect our relationships, whether these thoughts and feelings are verbalized, expressed, or not. So just to wrap this up, to be like God, which should be all of our goals, whether we fall short of it or not, the purpose is to try to be like God. Is to be like love. So to understand God is to understand love. Being loving is being God. So that which we really are is created by, from, and remains pure love. And you know it by being it. That's the only way to know anything. Otherwise, you're just knowing about, which is not the same as knowing. So that's really all I have to say about that today. It's been really good being here. Thank you guys for having me. It's a blessing, and hopefully we'll do it again.
And again, thank you once again to our distinguished guest speaker, Christina Ross and Kevin, for your wise words and superbness. And thank you all who are here with us today to celebrate the Adam Day. On this note, I would now conclude our first ever Adam Day, and inshallah, God willing, we will meet next year on the same day. Thank you once again.